The boy who filled a whole lunchbox with sweets just to cheer me up is the same one who ghosted me later. Want to hear the full story? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm sharing something super personal, the story of my first love. It's long, it's emotional, and it still hurts sometimes. If you've ever been through a heartbreak, this one might hit close to home. So grab some tissues, and let's dive in. It all started on my first day at a new school. I hopped on the bus, sat on one of those raised seats above the wheels, and when I stood up, bam! I hit my head hard on the overhead compartment. I was so embarrassed, my face turned tomato red. I quickly looked around to see if anyone noticed, and there he was, smiling at me from a few seats away. Let's call him Roy. Roy was in the same grade but a different section. We shared the same bus route, and he lived just a couple of societies away. At first, we found each other super annoying. We'd argue all the time. But one day, he got on the bus looking all excited and giddy. I asked him what happened, and he said he wanted to propose to a girl he liked. I actually helped him plan the perfect proposal. The next day, he went for it, but got rejected. I comforted him the whole bus ride home, and that's when things changed. We started getting closer. I secretly thank that girl every day. If she hadn't said no, I might never have had him. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. We grew inseparable. Everyone shipped us, students, teachers, everyone. I'd sneak into his classroom just to catch a glimpse of him, and every time, I'd feel his eyes on me. He was crazy about cricket. I didn't even like the sport, but I'd watch every match just so I had something to talk about with him. One day, I got on the bus early and started crying quietly. He came in after me, it was just us two. He kept asking what was wrong, but I pushed him away and said I needed space. He got off the bus and came back with a full lunchbox of sweets, cookies, candies, even little ladoos. I was confused, and he said, "I'm sorry I couldn't give you space, so here's a box of sweets instead." He told me his class had a Diwali party and he went around collecting extras from everyone just for me. I hugged him so tight. He wiped my tears with his handkerchief, held my hands, and said, "I'll always be there for you." That moment, that's when I fell hard for him. He was such an angel. Every morning, he'd sit next to me on the bus. If I was reading, he'd just stare at me. If I was sleepy, he'd let me rest on his shoulder while gently stroking my hair. My tuition classes were right next to his house, so we'd get ice cream together every day after class. We both knew we liked each other, but neither wanted to risk our friendship. Even my mom knew about him, and she loved him. She'd let us go out on a scooty and always asked about him. Life was tough for me at school and home sometimes, but Roy was my safe place. He'd hug me whenever I cried, then spam me with memes to make me laugh. If my shoelaces came undone, I was terrible at tying them. He'd get down on his knees and tie them for me. On my birthday, he took me out, let me eat whatever I wanted. We spent so much that day. He gifted me a pair of earrings, and I wore them every single day. On my school farewell, he proposed to me in Telugu, my mother tongue that I'd learned just to impress my mom. Of course, I said yes. I gave him the tightest hug and kissed him like I'd been waiting forever, because I had, for 2 whole years. After that, we were official. We'd hang out in my society all the time. My friends knew him, my mom and brother adored him, but my dad hated him and told me to stay away. My mom would help me sneak out to meet him anyway. He'd come over, play cricket with my brother, help my mom in the kitchen, or teach me physics. Every time we met, he'd bring me a little flower from his garden. We'd plan to play badminton, but we'd always end up making out in the service elevator. He'd hold me by the waist, lift me up to kiss me, then slide his hands lower while I played with his hair. We kissed everywhere, his house, my house, almost every elevator in the society. He was perfect for me, Tall, smart, great hair, amazing dancer, killer at sports. And he never left my side, until one day, he did. Suddenly, he started distancing himself. Stopped replying to texts, ignored my calls. His friends said he was fine, nothing had happened. He ghosted me for a whole month. I kept messaging him like an idiot, begging for answers. Then, out of nowhere, he messaged saying he wanted to break up. No real explanation at first. When I called, he said he'd seen my Instagram chats with my best friend, where I complained he was never available, and when she said I could do better, I didn't defend him. He thought I agreed. He said this had happened before. I admit, I was wrong for not shutting that down. But ghosting me for a month? Then coming back to blame me? Especially when he knew I was struggling with academics, feeling suicidal, and he'd seen my messages about wanting to self-harm again. I told him if that's how he felt, we should stay apart. He wanted to be friends. I just said whatever. He kept messaging for days. I gave dry replies. Then one day he asked if something was bothering me. I said yes, I don't trust you anymore, not after you left when I needed you most. He left me on scene. We met once with mutual friends. He apologized, said he was stupid, begged to get back together. I still loved him, but I could never forget the betrayal. I thought I'd moved on, until I saw him with another girl, not dating, but still. Rage and jealousy hit me hard. Here I was, struggling with studies and trust issues, while he seemed to be living his best life. He asked to get back again later, but all I felt was angered. He still messages sometimes, but I think he's moved on and just feels guilty or pities me. I feel so stupid for not letting go. This has affected everything, my mood, my interests. I threw away all his gifts. I hate sports now. Every time I pass his society, I get angry. If I see him on the street, I run away. I trusted him with everything, my bad childhood, my fears, my dreams, every secret. And now? I can't trust anyone. My depression feels worse. I don't love him anymore. I don't even hate him. I just wish I'd never met him. That's my story, guys. First love can be beautiful, but it can also break you in ways you never expect. If you've gone through something similar, drop a heart in the comments. You're not alone. If this story touched you, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more real, raw stories like this. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for listening. Take care of your hearts, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.